Welcome back to Bad Work Stories Made Good. Emma and Corina. I'm Emma. It's Corina. We're on a mission to stop those bad work stories. Workplace doesn't need to be a place of drama and suffering. It can be a place of honesty, trust, and good energy. And today's situation, we're really going to apply some practical and kind strategies to improve what's going on. Take what resonates with you and put the rest away, or put whatever you can use in your toolkit. So hello everyone, and welcome to Bad Work Stories Made Good. And so Corina's with me on the other side of the world, still in the cold in the Northern Hemisphere. I'm definitely freezing.
Got a nice woolly on?
Nice woolly. I was going to take it off and look professional underneath, but actually, I'm sorry, guys. You're just going to have warmth. I don't live in a centrally heated home, which most New Zealand homes aren't. I live in a batch. How's your week been, Corina? You had a bit of a cold?
Very good. Yep, but I've got the kind of a bit of a cleansing thing, as you can hear through my voice, going down.
The nasal drip.
I've got details. So like I wouldn't miss this for the world. So you have my husky tones joining us for the next 20 minutes or so.
Oh, so lovely that you could be here. And this week, I think you have a bad work story to share with us.
We always have a bad work story. Unfortunately, that's the mission. Get rid of the bad work story.
I was going to say, the week we don't have one will be a good week.
It'll be a good week. All right. So we have one, and I'm just going to read some of the details that came in, so I make sure I get all of this right for our listener. So this week on Bad Work Stories, we have one here that for me is all about the land of cross-functional collaboration, pain. All right. So, so the leader says here, we have a situation where the lack of collaboration is driving her nuts. She is tired, drained, getting sick of being the only one that can solve it all, being the director of the show. Can we help? So a few more details were that the cross-functional team come together to work on critical materials, bringing their specialist skills to the table with the one purpose of supporting a quality output for the client. Everyone at the table is super intelligent, varying degrees of ego, impatience, and frustration. They have had team sessions working on this before to help their alignment, but nothing's helped so far. There you go. So that's what we've got. So don't we love a bit of cross-functional tension? So in your time,
absolutely.
Have you come across
tension, dysfunction? I mean, honestly, it's so familiar. It's sad. How can we keep coming together, wasting our own human resources, our energy, our time, and not making progress when being together should be the best. It should be the best work. We should have so much energy and use our best resources, as I say, each individually. So very familiar. And look forward to seeing if we can crack this one and give everyone some ideas to move forward.
And it's not, like who did you go up against, if you like, so from it's not uncommon to see commercial functions up against kind of support services, or if we have
definitely. I think so. I think commercial, but also legal. I mean, I'm from a marketing background, and marketers are usually pushing, we want to tell stories, we want to tell interesting stories, and legal want us to tell very bland, what seems to me very bland, simple stories. Don't divert, don't use that word, don't. So that's right. There's a nice neat box, and if you can fit into that box, that would be better. I think, when you get all the different elements and everyone's sitting in their own space, everyone's like going, this is what I want. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. And if anyone's listening to that and thinking, as a legal department, I'm not in a box. I know. That's good. Please, we'd love to hear from you.
I've worked with some very creative, very, very fantastic, don't get me wrong, legal campaigns.
Because you know
It's
those
when they put themselves in the
you know
box.
those marketing people, they could be in their own little box.
Oh, marketing's definitely in the box.
All right.
It's in the colouring box.
All right. So how do we make this good? So
Yeah, no.
in your experience, what was one thing that you would do to actually, stop this drama between, the cross-functional
Yeah.
thing?
Well, definitely common purpose. I think coming together with not with an answer. So I think that whenever people came into a session where I've got the answer and that's how it's going to be, was a problem. Come in with an attitude of curiosity. So we're all actually on the same team. So stepping away from I'm legal, I'm commercial, I'm marketing, I'm customer service, whoever else you've got in your room and your cross-functional, IT, there's so many different positions. Step away from that and step into the common purpose and see if you can be curious about what's the best solution or the best answer for the aim that is going to serve all of us. So I think when everybody sits there going, well, I had a meeting before this meeting and I was bringing my answer and I'm going to campaign as hard as I can to get my answer. That can be a problem.
Yeah, I concur. It's kind of like, are you strong enough, or it's kind of fit for purpose to leave your ego at the door, and that, and the acknowledgement is, specialists do have an ego. Well, I mean, we'll have an ego, right? It's just, how are we using that? Are we using that, to listen and be humble, and as you said, be curious about, what are other viewpoints at the table? But if I come in going, like our person here on the bad work story is saying their default action is to be the savior, is to be the hero. I'm the one that comes in and I have to do this and blah, blah, blah. And, and depending on the kind of energy, but even just reading that, you can imagine the energy that is rippling into a team. And I wouldn't be surprised if on the other end of it, people are going, oh, well, we'll just do it that person's way. Or, we all play a bit dumb and go for the least past resistance, or there'll be a fight because my ego is bigger than yours, and my brain is bigger than yours. And, classic stage two, right? Who's got the biggest brain? Not.
Yeah. Well, I think IQ, if you bring your IQ card, it's not actually helpful, because IQ may get you the job, but we all know EQ gets you further in a leadership role. And so being connected with what's going on, and then for us, unleashing what we can create together is far more powerful than even if I'm super bright, even what I may have created, coming up with a solution that we have created together will not only, I would believe, be better, but it would feel better. The connection and the teamwork, the collaboration, that's what collaboration's about. It's about bringing the sum of us up, not just 1 + 1. It's not just Emma and Corina. It's Emma and Corina superpower, right?
So,
so putting people together in the room and just if I've got the answer and I'm going to beat you all into submission until you agree with me.
Well, I don't want to be on a team like that. I heard someone talk about under the cosh, can you help your teammates stand tall? I really like that, and it was a reference to high pressure sports. Like we've got the Ashes. Anyone listening to this channel, I'm a sports nut. I was listening to, and if you're Australian, you'll love this because, of course, Australia's won the Ashes. But it's the resilience of the English cricket team that was being talked about. And instead of the culture in losing dressing rooms being one of blame and ego and pointing the finger, to actually, can you help your team, your team stand tall? And I just thought that was a really nice analogy to what we're talking about today? Can we help each other raise up? And I think,
Yeah.
that I just had that thought before, but it was kind of like the thought of like getting curious about other ways of, like, do I respect you enough on my team to actually really have that attitude of like, you said like, we're all in this together, and the thought that, yes, I've got my thought back now, which was fear, right? Because when I've worked a lot with
Right.
functional teams, there seems to be a lot of fear about getting it right and not letting my individual function down, right? So there's kind of like
Ah,
this fear factor that we know fear stuffs. You can insert the other F word there. Fear stuffs the our creative process. How open, how calm
totally.
we're going to be, and the options narrow, right? So if I go into my
Yeah.
own survival mechanism around my role, my function, what might happen if I don't get it right or I give the wrong advice, then, we're in a very, very limited pool of resourcing and stress, tension, reactivity, frustration. And so, you know, someone's going to
Yeah.
jump in there and go,
Yeah.
let's do it this way, find the least,
Yeah.
point of
I agree.
pain, resistance through, which is so sad. And
Yeah.
as you opened, a total waste of our collective resourcing.
Yeah. And I think, getting to know each other, if you do come together to work
Mm,
on a team like this, I mean, you have a purpose to be there, which
mm,
is to resolve a situation or to work on something. But, knowing each other better, and again, I'll bring in the EQ thing because I've been working on with it a bit this week with a really intelligent group of engineering people do incredible work. But, EQ, they're huge IQs, but the EQ part is, again, is so important. So, creating trust and safety in a group so that you can open up, and don't presume you know people. Don't presume you know everything about them,
mm,
because there may be, well, a whole lot, which there is a whole lot more to people than we know, just on the surface. So team building in these situations, everyone goes, I haven't got time. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to have a check-in. It
mm,
doesn't take long to share, what's important to you. What was one important thing you did, for your family or with your, that you
mm,
love,
mm,
something you're passionate about,
mm,
that's beyond, this piece of work. Creating connections, and then those connections will build to better collaboration, and that's so I'm all for that sort of get to
mm.
know each other.
Yeah, and for me, the kind of the funnel into that deeper connection of, let's just have a round of what is the kind of the crack that you're experiencing in your team about this. Oh, my leader,
Exactly.
because normally, yeah, a lot of the time, right? Not all the time, but some of the time, but a lot of the time, it's this domino effect, right? We're feeding a
Yeah.
monster at some level, right? There's a domino
Yeah.
effect, and you just happen to be holding that last domino or a part of the
Yeah.
domino picture,
Yeah.
right? And there's tension in the system, and everything has to happen now, and all the rest of it. So actually, being vulnerable, opening up the unknown, the hidden part of the Johari window, stepping into the unknown part together of, let's just have a round of what stuff are you getting from above? What pressure going
Yeah, and
on?
maybe you got sent in there, right? Maybe you got primed up. Maybe you got sent in there and told, do not, would under any circumstances, give them this, that, the other, or this is like, we talked about the box. Well, back in the box again.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can only
And that
you can only go this far.
Yeah, and that takes a huge amount of trust, right? Because and a lot of times it'd be like, who are you loyal to? Are you loyal to your team, as in your home team, or is it the loyalty
Yeah,
to actually what can we produce for the client? What is our purpose?
yeah,
So, and again, time and time again, coming back to what is our purpose? How are we aligned? Like,
yeah,
are we actually aligned on the same page around what problem we're trying to solve? How are we working together? And I think, another piece that's coming up for me with this ego that our listener has presenced here is, power. When you bring power in, there is a counterbalance there, which is power under. So
Yes.
what do you, what do you
Yeah.
expect? And again, it's like, are you? You're not how you're not helping your team members stand tall. You're actually encouraging them to sit down and friggin' lie on the ground and disappear. Like,
Totally. And you become, in a group of that, you become a passenger, right?
yeah,
And you're just sitting there like
yeah,
humbly, being beaten down. It's like, actually stop that.
mm,
Stop that now.
and
This is not a good this is not a good way to work, and it's not productive, positive, healthy in any level. So do not take that power under look, rise up, I'm going to start the revolution today. It's like, speak up and
yeah,
have your voice heard, and say, well, it's not how it works in this team. We're open. We want to be creative. We want to be collaborative. We want to solve big problems. We don't want to just have the same old stuff regurgitated, which if you do go down that track is what it will happen.
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
And I,
boring,
and I want to kind
boring.
of, finish up a little bit on how I've actually seen this really, really successful, and that piece
Yeah,
around curiosity. And I've
yeah,
actually, so leader, if you were listening to this, it's absolutely possible when you step out of your ego and make space for
yeah.
others to shine, to step
Yes.
into their brilliance. It is
So listening.
it is
Yeah,
incredible what can happen, right?
yeah,
And what you will unpack, and I've seen this happen and heard it happen, about what can be actually, presented that would never have been shared before, was
yes,
absolutely not life changing, but product changing. And
totally.
the person with the ego who suspended their ego long enough to allow this to happen was just like, seriously, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, had I continued like I had, it would have been a shit show, basically. But because
That's right. So creating the space, right?
it was
Creating the space for something to emerge. That does
amazing.
mean some quiet as well.
Mm,
Like allow the group to feel comfortable and for things to emerge. So yeah, not just all I'm in, I'm the leader, I know it all, or I'm taking, I'm driving this. Just, yeah, sit back and allow some energy and some ideas to emerge from others.
mm,
Totally
totally,
incredible.
yeah. And be humble with it. Did you learn
Yeah.
something? And then the last piece I would put in here is debrief the experience. Because when you have a great experience like this, there's many bad experiences, right? So actually, when you have that positive experience, debrief it, embed it, encode it into how you work. Like, wow, that
Yeah.
was a really good experience. Let's have more of that. So how
I know, because often we think the debriefing's about the bad stuff.
mm,
We think, "Oh god, that went wrong. So what do we need to we'll need to debrief that." We should be walking out going, "Well, that went so well. We need to debrief. We want to do more of that."
exactly. And how were you being, and what did you do differently, right? Like, I was patient, I listened, I
Yeah.
suspended judgment. Normally I think you guys are, a bunch of blah blah blahs. This time around I was thinking, I'm the blah blah blah, not you guys. You guys are super cool, like, you guys made it happen, and all I had to do was get out of the way, right? And that is can be so, so powerful. So give yourself a pat on the back on that one,
Yeah,
and bring it forward into your future collabs. So yeah,
totally.
I think that's
I think there's
it.
definitely plenty there.
Yeah, great
Yeah.
project. Thanks for sending that in. That was awesome. Yeah, and
Yeah, great. And I hope that, things improve in the team
mm,
collaboration and the wider team collaboration. Yeah, be awesome
fantastic. And
to
as
hear
always,
how it plays out.
yeah, and as always, we're here for you guys. So if you've got extra drama, stuff that's escalating, whatever, you know where to come, right? So we wish you well. Until next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.